Hello, my name is Yaro and I am the founder of Patric AI. This is the first episode of the Patric AI podcast that's also going to function as the introduction, the about page, the content for the about section of our website. I wanted to introduce you to what Patric is and also what is the vision for Patric. Why am I building this? Why am I so excited to share Patric with the world? And of course, the most important thing, what can Patric do for you? So let's start with that. Obviously, this is a startup. We're a brand new company. I'm very excited to be working in both the audio content creation world, podcasting, voice, but also using AI to give you tools to make podcasting easier. And that's ultimately the big picture here to start with. I want to remove the technical barriers of every step of podcasting. And we've actually already made some big strides with that. So right now, Patric 1.0, the very first version out there, allows you to start your podcast. So assuming you've already recorded your episode using whatever recording tool you like, if you have your audio file, Patric is first and foremost a podcast host. So we'll host your file on our speedy servers with as much space and download room as you need, no matter how popular your show gets, all at an affordable price. But of course, that's pretty standard. Most podcast hosting services out there provide that. What we do that's a little bit extra is the first phase of our AI features. So Patric is here to remove the technical barriers. First of all, Patric will build a website for you, an instant modern podcast website with subscription links for Spotify, Apple, Amazon, YouTube, and iHeartRadio. Also, Patric will create cover art for your show and cover art for each individual podcast episode, all automatically for you. And Patric will create a search engine ready comprehensive blog post or article that's not just normal boring show notes, but it's a full article that you could read instead of listening to the podcast. So consider it a blog post or an article that covers the same content that's inside the podcast you recorded. It's not just a summary, it's not just show notes, it's an actual article that reveals the same information, with the goal here, first of all, to be a really helpful resource for anyone who just wants to read what you talked about in the podcast, but also because it is so comprehensive, we're talking multiple thousands of words depending on how long your podcast is, it gives you a search engine ready piece of content. So chances are, as your website authority builds, that blog post will help your podcast show up in search, both AI-based search and Google-based search. So that's a really helpful extra step. Plus, of course, you don't have to sit there and write a blog post or write show notes, which honestly is something I used to do. I've been podcasting myself since the year 2006, and I used to write a lot of blog posts to go with every single one of my podcasts. And I always wrote show notes that were kind of short, that really didn't cover as much as I covered in the podcast. So I'm so happy that Patric can write that for us. So Patric can do the technical challenge of cover art, of written content, and the entire modern design website with podcast subscription buttons ready to go. So essentially your job is simply to record your podcast, drag and drop it over to Patric. Patric will instantly put it onto your website. Everything will be there. There'll be an episode page with the cover art, the article, the streaming player to listen to your podcast, to speed up playback. Everything's done, and that's it. There's no uploading. There's no complicated dashboards. There's no plugins. There's no designing a website. There's no having to do any technical steps. No hiring a designer for your cover art or a writer for your article to go with the blog post. Everything is done. Everything is very quick, instant, and it'll do it for every single episode you upload. So everything I've just described is ready to go. That's Patric 1.0. It's a podcast hosting and publishing solution, and I'd love for you to use it already. You can go to patric.ai, get your audio file, drag and drop it into our uploader, and you'll see very quickly after that, a few minutes, depending on how long your episode is, the website ready for you to view. If you like it, you can claim it. Just create an account with our Patric platform. It'll then be inside your own login in your dashboard, and you can go and continue to make use of that website, add more episodes, make any changes to the name of the show, the description. It's all there for you. Now, that's phase one. There's a much bigger vision beyond that. So ultimately, my goal with Patric is not just to solve the problem of podcasting. It's about using AI not to replace humans. That's a big fear right now. So if you've been doing any research or just experiencing AI, and obviously you're in the online world, so you've seen how AI content is flooding the internet. And there's a real concern that AI is replacing humans, replacing creativity. AI slop is a massive issue. We've all seen AI content. We probably all had that feeling where we've watched something where we're not sure, is that real or is that AI? And it left us feeling a little bit funny. My goal with Patric is to have AI as a tool to help extract more creativity, more stories, more content, more advice from you, the human. Not to replace you, but to augment you and to reduce the barriers of you creating content, you being creative, you sharing your story, which is something that AI can't replicate, you sharing your advice, which is something that AI can't replicate either. So what does that really mean though? So the next step, this is Patric phase 2, is to have Patric take part in not just the publishing aspect of your podcast, but also the recording and the creation steps of creating a podcast. So right now you might just use a tool where you hit record and you speak out a podcast, much like I'm doing right now. I'm using some software on my computer. I've hit record, I'm talking into a microphone, and away you go. With phase 2 of Patric AI, first of all, we want to continue reducing the technical barriers. We don't want you to have some studio set up. We don't want you to buy a microphone. We just want you to use something you already have, your mobile phone. Your mobile phone has a great microphone already built into it. And assuming you can get yourself into a quiet space, maybe a place where you don't have too much echo or background noise. I'm doing this at home. There's a good chance that my dogs might suddenly start barking, which is unfortunately just a challenge I deal with when podcasting at home. But ultimately, it's not about being perfect. It's just about being able to create content. So Patric phase 2 is going to be about using your phone to record the episode. And that can be a solo episode. That can be you phoning a friend and doing an interview or a conversation. That could be also you having a panel, inviting multiple people, multiple friends to talk about something, multiple co-hosts, or perhaps interviewing special guests one-on-one. A lot of podcasts do that. So just call someone with your phone, use WhatsApp, connect with them, and you can record. So that's helping to reduce the barrier to at least record the episode. But Patric's going to do more than that. Patric is going to help you actually create content, even if you're by yourself. So for example, Patric can be your interviewer. If you're a little bit uncomfortable with podcasting, you have trouble doing a solo episode, just talking off the top of your head, even if you want to practice, what Patric can do is ask you questions and help extract whatever knowledge you have or whatever stories you have about a topic. Just tell it, what's your topic and what do you want to talk about? And it will ask you questions to, in other words, create a podcast as if it was interviewing you. You can go further than that and invite multiple people and involve Patric as the panel leader or interviewing multiple people or perhaps helping you to interview someone. Patric can go as far as being your co-host. So you two together chat, you chat with him. He's a conversational AI. I call him a him because Patric is a male name, but of course it's an it. And Patric can be your co-host. You can choose a topic. And of course, because Patric is an AI, it's got access to the entire wealth of the internet in terms of knowledge. So chances are it'll know all the facts and figures and stories and interesting information that it can bring to an episode. And it can also do that simply as a producer. If you don't want Patric to participate as a host or an interviewer, but you'd still like to tap the knowledge of Patric while you're doing your own shows, you can be recording something and you're thinking, I need to know, let's say I'm doing a podcast about baseball, and I want to figure out or find out who was the person who did the first ever home run in baseball, in professional baseball. You can ask Patric while you're recording with Patric, hey, Patric, who was the person who hit the first home run? And Patric, much like a human producer would go and do the research quickly and then answer you. In this case, Patric is obviously immediately connected to the entire knowledge, can go and find the answer and give you the answer back. So not necessarily your host or an interviewer, but just something you can tap into to bring in facts and figures. So basically, whatever you can expect from a modern conversational AI, Patric can help do that, plus anything you talk about can be recorded using your phone. So it unlocks the power of not just AI for data, for a voice, but also for recording. Now, of course, with Patric AI, we handle the publishing for you. So whatever you record, all the things I mentioned earlier, when you publish your podcast, the instant cover art, the instant search engine ready article, the beautifully designed website, all of that will work with the recording side of Patric too. So you finish recording with Patric and instantly that episode goes live onto your website with cover art and a search engine ready, well-written, comprehensive article based on whatever you just talked about in that episode. So the goal there with our next phase of Patric AI is to complete the full process from recording an episode, no matter how you want to do it, with or without an AI voice, maybe just to help you get the content out there, maybe with other humans involved or not, and then publish that on your beautiful podcast website. And of course, distribute it to all the platforms out there, Apple, iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, YouTube. All those platforms can connect, or Patric can connect to them. So that's our initial vision, and that's what we're working on now. The publishing aspect is basically ready as I'm recording this. We're working on the recording aspect. It's a little bit more challenging. We're basically building a conversational AI that can deal with all the dynamic situations that you might bring to it when recording an episode. So that's a bit more of a challenge, but we hope to have that for you to start using soon. And then, of course, you can start recording episodes with us. But right now, you can bring your existing recordings, your existing podcasts, and have a very simple podcast publishing platform that removes the technical steps. Instant website, instant cover art, instant article, drag and drop simplicity, ready to go. And I think you'll be very excited to see what your website looks like and how easy and how quick it is. There's no complicated steps, no multiple processes for setting things up, no redesigning things. It's just simple drag and drop and your content's live online with, a website you can share with downloads available on all the big platforms. So very comprehensive, yet very simple. And I'll end this introduction, this Patric episode 1.0, talking about ultimately the biggest vision I have for what Patric could become. Right now, we're focusing on podcasting. We want to make the best podcasting tool available to you. And very much the reason why I did this is because I have a history of being a podcaster. I love this medium. I spent 10 years from around 2006 to 2016 running multiple business podcasts of my own. I had thousands of listeners. It really helped my business at the time. And I know a lot about podcasting and the challenges because I went through them all and the difficulties of recording and publishing. So I want to solve that problem and I want to see what AI can bring to podcasters. Hence, that's why I built Patric AI. But we can do a lot more. My goal here, my vision is how far can we take conversational AI as a content creation assistant? So obviously already Patric is helping you to create audio and it helps you to create fairly detailed, comprehensive blog posts. So it could be a blogging tool. You can be sitting in your car thinking, I need to write a blog post for my website today or an article for my website. I don't have time to write it. And I don't want to just spit out some 100% AI slop type content that you can tell there's nothing original in it. What I can do is talk to Patric and say, here's a story, or here's a piece of advice, or here's something that happened to me today, and just talk it out. Maybe it takes you 5-10 minutes. And then Patric goes and turns that into an article, writes a great article, but it's still your content, your ideas, your stories, your advice. So it's original human content just written by the AI. It makes it easier for you, reduces the barriers to publishing. And much like with podcasting, all you have to do is talk. And then a few minutes later, it's live on your website, ready to be shared. So instant publishing, which is huge. It makes it so much easier. It can insert into your life. Wherever you can talk, you can publish. So whether it's a podcast and audio or a written article, Patric can help you do that. And we can go further. Social media content. Most people, whether you're an influencer, creator, small business owner, chances are you are publishing something on social media and you feel that pressure. I got to get something new on Facebook. I get something on LinkedIn, on X, on Instagram. Patric, once again, can be your companion using your voice to publish that content. So probably the easiest solution, because that doesn't need to be very long. Again, you could be walking home from work or from whatever you're doing. You open up Patric on your phone. You say, hi, I want to create a short Facebook post, and I want it to go on LinkedIn as well and Instagram. You just talk out something for a couple of minutes. It's formatted, written for you nicely. There's an image created. It gets published on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, all for you. And anytime you want to just talk something out, it is the simplest, lowest barrier to entry way to quickly create content. But the key thing here, it's still unique to you. It's not AI slop. It's you originating ideas and stories and advice. Whatever you're living through, you can give that content to Patric and it will turn it into whatever format you like. A podcast, a blog post, a social media post. And that's the vision here. Patric being a publishing tool. We can even go as far as potentially writing a book. I've wanted to write books my entire life. I have a few sitting on my hard drive that were never properly published, a few that were published. And with Patric, book writing can become so much easier. You've probably heard the idea of spending, every day writing at least 1,000 words. You can do that with your voice. So every day, open up Patric and say, Patric, I want to continue writing my book. I want to write the next chapter, but you're not writing it, you're speaking it. So you just speak out for, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. You can just write out, might be 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 words worth of content, but you say it with your voice, and Patric writes that into the next few chapters or the next few pages of your book. And if you do that every day for 30 days, you've probably got a book. And of course, Patric can help you get that published as well. So get it all into one document ready to be published. And even my hope, my dream, get that published for you as well. So we can go from, once again, you just saying something to having the published book at the end ready on Amazon to be purchased. Obviously, that's way down the line. We're focusing on podcasting. Very much after that would be blogging and social media. And then the book, we'll see. I may not go down the path of the book, but hey, if you tell me you'd love to have that, and enough people tell me that, I will turn that into one of our more important priority features to build. But right now, we're just going to nail podcasting. So we've got the publishing side. We're working on the recording side next. And I think that is pretty much the About page done, the About podcast done, and the Patric AI official episode 1 done as well. I'm going to end it there. My name is Yaro. I am the founder of Patric AI. I think for the next episode, we'll talk a little bit more about my background and why I feel like I'm able to do this and my experience with podcasting and why I love to help you with content creation and my own background with content creation. But for now, that's episode 1 of Patric AI. I would love for you to use the first version of Patric. So if you want to publish a podcast, even if you're not sure, just grab any of your audio files. You might have a recorded episode or interview, or just record yourself doing a solo recording like I'm doing now. Bring that over to patric.ai. That's PATRIC.ai. And then just drag and drop that file, and Patric will show you your website and all the things I just talked about, cover art, article, and you can just see what Patric does. Okay, that's it. My name is Yaro. I'll talk to you on the next episode.